Hey, everybody, it's rankings time for the class of 2023. And who doesn't love a good rankings discussion? We've been talking about them for the last couple of weeks at 24/7 Sports. I'm National Director of Basketball, Eric Bossi. I'm joined by National Director of Scouting and College Insider, Adam Finkelstein. Adam, let's dive right into it. We've got a new number one in the country, Isaiah Collier. Why is he number one?
Well, I think it's one of those classes that, there could be a lot of legitimate candidates. But when you go through this field, I think the couple of questions that at least I ask myself is who's got the highest floor, both in college and long term? And, then what's different people's, what's the upside look like? And to me, Isaiah Collier is someone who, he missed the summer he missed July because of the meniscus injury, but he came back and looked great. But I want to make it clear he's not number one, at least in my mind, because of what happened in August. He's number one because of what we saw in the spring, and because I firmly believe that he could be the most college-ready player in the class. He's going to come in and make an immediate impact, be one of the very best, if not the best freshman in college basketball next year. And I also think long-term, he's a guy who is a true point guard with his positional size, his ability to read the game, his ability to make others better. I think that translates to the very highest levels. He's a good athlete, not a great athlete, but a good athlete. The big question mark has been the consistency of his jumper, but that is definitely trending the right way. So in this class where there's not a number one that jumps right out at you, he was the guy to me that checked the most boxes. And that's why he got my vote for number one.
Yeah, and obviously with him going to number one, that means DJ Wagner, who has long been thought the top player in the class, is now settling back into number two after briefly returning to the number one spot with the reclassification of Gigi Jackson to 2022. I know you're still a pretty big advocate of DJ Wagner, while also understanding that he's maybe got some stuff to prove moving forward, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And let's just be candid right off the bat. I didn't think DJ had a great summer. Certainly not the month of July. He was not his most efficient self, both with USA Basketball as well as with the Scholars when he played in the Peach Jam. But I think with him, you've got to look at the totality of his resume to date, and then also what he does moving forward. And in my opinion, everybody talks about the points and the volume scorer, and he scores in different ways, and all of that is very, very legitimate. But I think the thing about DJ that maybe doesn't get enough attention is that he is an absolutely elite competitor. I mean, his will to win and how hard he plays, that stuff is very, very impressive. And I also think he's got an ability to kind of will those around him to compete at a high level as well. He's not the type of guard who's going to make others better necessarily with his facilitating ability. Obviously, he's wired to score, and he's been in situations that have been tailored for him to do that. But I think he is the type of guy who can make others better because of how hard he plays and his ability to get others to go along with that and kind of raise their bar. Now, he's going to have to shoot the ball better than we saw this summer. There's no doubt about that, because he's really not a point guard. He doesn't have elite positional size or athleticism. They're fine, but he's going to have to shoot the ball better than he did this summer. He's going to have to be a little bit more efficient. But until somebody takes that spot from him, because of his body work, because of that elite competitiveness, I'm still going with DJ Wagner. But he was one of three different five-star guys on that Scholars team. And I know there was one in particular that you were very impressed with this summer, and a big reason why he made the jump he did in our rankings.
Yeah, I really am a big fan of what Aaron Bradshaw did this summer, jumping from barely inside of our top 20 to five-star in the top five at number 4 overall, and actually a guy that I voiced my opinion. I might have been in favor of ranking him number 1 overall. Now, I know that Aaron still has a lot to prove in terms of consistency and things, but when we talk about ultimate ceiling for where someone can be as a prospect, a mobile 7-footer who can play above the rim, who can protect the rim, who can rebound, who can run rim to rim, is a guy that I think might be worth betting on in this class. Now, he's still got to develop a little bit more go-to offense. I'd like to see him focus on a jump hook more than a face-up jump shot, which he tends to lean towards over the jump hook. But, Aaron's making huge strides, coming along quickly, and I would have been comfortable with him at number 1, but I also get him wanting to earn it and maybe gives him a little more drive to move on. And then finally, for this last Scholars guy, the one who's committed, McKenzie McAdoo, who rounds out our top 5. Why does he move in there, Adam?
Well, he had a great Peach Jam. I mean, you saw a lot of the national media show up at Peach Jam, and which they do every year. And having not seen kind of the full EYBL season where McKenzie had frankly not played his best basketball, but he was at his best at Peach Jam. And when you start talking about who's got the highest floor, I think McKenzie is definitely in that conversation because he's got a great combination of size and skill. He's going to be able to stretch the floor. He's going to be even better in offensive structure at the next level than he is at the high school level. When he's playing in different concepts and in where he knows where his shots are coming from. He's got a full arsenal of threes, of sidestep threes, of step backs. He makes mid-range shots in the move, and he really rebounds the ball at a high level, which is one of the reasons why I believe he's a 4. So he's another one that had people talking about, does he deserve to be number 1? He was certainly in the conversation. But he made a big jump and one of 3 guys on that scholars team. That to me was the exciting part about this class, even relative to our group, is that in our own meetings, we were all advocating for different people. And I thought that was basically a microcosm of what you're going to see in a college staff or an NBA front office, because there is no clear cut number 1, but there's a lot of talented players and a lot of depth in this class overall.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see who else is going to make a push for that number 1 spot throughout the season. And we'll certainly be following it here at 24/7 Sports.